Houston Rockets returned from their road trip in Florida on a high. The team had put together a 9-game winning streak, their longest in 5 years, and with the playoffs looming, they were playing their most inspired basketball of the season.
Obviously, Oklahoma City, they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's an MVP candidate. They're surrounded by great defensive players. They hit big shots. They've been proven over the course of the season to be the best team in the Western Conference. My second team might surprise you. It's the Houston Rockets. They're playing solid defense. They're young. They don't care who's in front of them. They'll play anybody in a 7-game series. I got Houston and OKC just a little bit above the Denver Nuggets, but I also will say this too. Scary teams, Lakers, if they're playing good defense and both those guys are healthy. Clippers, great job over there by the coaching staff. And Kawhi could be obviously the X factor there. And the Golden State Warriors if they're healthy.
There was a renewed sense of purpose in the locker room, an understanding that this was their time. Amen Thompson had returned from injury against the Miami Heat, reclaiming his spot in the starting lineup. But his absence had been far from wasted time. Tari Eason, filling in as a starter, delivered a string of commanding performances, including a career-high 30-point explosion against the Dallas Mavericks. Jabari Smith Jr., a starter since he entered the league in 2022, had been sidelined with a hand injury prior to the All-Star break. His return raised questions about the starting rotation. Both Smith and Eason were eligible for contract extensions, and Houston's front office would soon face a difficult choice, one that would shape the team's future. The Rockets' winning streak had secured him a 2-game lead over the third-seeded Denver Nuggets, setting the stage for a high-stakes battle at Toyota Center. These two franchises had met in the playoffs only once before, nearly 4 decades ago in 1986.
For Tuesday Night Hoop on America's Game, the NBA.
Will Ralph Sampson fuel Houston to victory past the NBA's most explosive team, Denver? Find out at 9:05 Eastern, live on the Superstation.
Tonight.
That series, defined by a chaotic and thrilling double overtime Game 6, had cemented the twin towers of Hakeem Olajuwon and Ralph Sampson as a force to be reckoned with. But this was a different time, a different Rockets team. Without Nikola Jokic, Denver relied on DeAndre Jordan at center. Houston fought valiantly, but a scorching third-quarter performance from Jamal Murray proved insurmountable.
And the Rockets' winning streak has been snapped at 9 as Denver comes into Houston and wins it 116 to 111.
The Rockets would have their chance at revenge on the final day of the regular season, but for now, they had to turn their attention to the battles ahead.
The Rockets have the easiest strength of schedule amongst those 4 teams coming in. Doesn't mean that they're favored. I haven't talked to BPI and listened to their mumbo jumbo.
And there are some tests later. They have the Lakers. They have the Lakers twice over the final 2 weeks of the season. Got a game against the Thunder, a game against the Warriors, game against the Clippers, game the final day of the regular season against the Nuggets, which could be a very important game for everybody involved. There's some, there's some real tests down the stretch, which is why they got to take advantage of these soft games coming up, because, it's certainly for a young team, it's going to matter a lot if they can get home court in the first round and be able to start a series at home instead of going on the road to play one of these veteran teams.
The road ahead offered no reprieve. The Western Conference playoff picture was a logjam of elite teams, each clawing for position. But first, Houston had 3 consecutive games against sub-500 opponents. It was an opportunity to gain ground, and they seized it. Jalen Green led the charge against the Atlanta Hawks, his 32-point performance ensuring a hard-fought victory.
Let's go, Perk. Come on now. Hank, come on. It's Asia. We are hyped. We are hyped. This is our city. Hello, the Houston Rockets. They are here. They have arrived. We have liftoff, and they are red hot at the right time with the postseason just right around the corner. Now, if they want to make some noise, Big Perk, when it comes to mid-April, they need their stars to shine, and they're doing exactly that. What I do really love is the fact that this is the best season that the Rockets have had since 2018, 6 years, the year after James Harden was prime MVP. And now I feel like we really have a foundation to not only make the playoffs, which we have ensured basically, but also build upon it for the future.
Amen Thompson, nursing a minor injury, sat out but returned just in time for a matchup with Utah. Against the Jazz, Sengun put on a masterclass, dismantling Walker Kessler and Kyle Filipovsky en route to 33 points.
These young guys that are learning, like an Alperen Sengun, like a Jalen Green, like how do you expect them to do when it comes to playoff time?
You just gotta be in it. You know, the whistle is different, the intensity is different. Everything about that playoff atmosphere is different. So you can be talked about it, you can be coached about it, but until you've been in that atmosphere, until you realize how precious the value of this ball is, the shot is, you know, you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
The Rockets then traveled to Phoenix for their final matchup of the season against the Suns, a team in turmoil. Once a title contender, the Suns now found themselves on the outside looking in, their playoff hopes hanging by a thread. Their struggles were music to Houston's ears, as the Rockets owned Phoenix's draft pick and stood to benefit from their collapse. A victory here wouldn't just strengthen Houston's grip on the number 2 seed, it would push Phoenix further into the abyss.
You know, there was a run at the end of the first quarter, continued in the second quarter, gave up 78 points at halftime. Just defensively, you know, I think 36 and 42 in the first and second quarter. It's just not good enough. Yeah, I mean, tonight they had everything. You know, they were, you know, the three-point line, you know, they hurt us there. They hurt us on the offensive boards. They hurt us driving it. They basically hurt us with everything. But, you know, tonight, not good.
All Houston tonight as they pick up their 49th win of the season. The Suns will fall to 35 and 40.
Next came a showdown in Los Angeles. The Lakers, an organization synonymous with championship pedigree, had undergone seismic changes since they last faced Houston. LeBron James and Luka Doncic formed a dynamic duo, but their ultimate potential remained an enigma. The Lakers were the Rockets' second most frequent postseason opponent, their history stretching back to the 1980s.
Yeah, Brent Barry used the comparison, compared the Lakers to Mount Everest. Did you come in here feeling like an underdog or a big underdog, and how did you overcome that?
Well, that's a simple word, underdog. I just learned a couple of days ago.
Inside for Olajuwon, stolen by Shaq, who brings the dribble out of the backcourt himself. Lob for Kobe!
Houston had often found itself on the losing end of those encounters, but the memories of their greatest triumphs lingered.
Sampson. It goes! It's over! A miraculous shot by Ralph Sampson. Off balance has given the Houston Rockets the Western Conference Championship.
The 1986 upset, when the young Twin Towers toppled a veteran Lakers squad.
Well, the Twin Towers is the reason I'm up here talking to you now, not down on the floor playing.
The 1981 series, when Moses Malone outdueled Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in a grueling best-of-3 clash. Those moments served as reminders that the underdog could, and often did, prevail.
This is one game Johnson just might not be able to pull out of his bag of magic tricks.
Now, the Rockets found themselves in position to write a new chapter in this storied rivalry. They had proven they belonged among the elite, but with the playoffs approaching, every game carried weight. The road to a championship was never easy, but in Houston, they wouldn't have it any other way.
Rockets, one of the best teams in the NBA, and showing it. They played last night in Phoenix and won by 39, and they're giving the Lakers all they can handle tonight. Brooks to inbound, and they give him space. Şengün inside, mismatch on Ruth, knocked away! LeBron erases the shot! LeBron blocks the shot! 8 seconds to go. 6-point game. Here comes Van Vliet. And good if it goes. It's over. The Lakers have won.
The Houston Rockets returned home to the Toyota Center for their 77th game of the season against the Utah Jazz.
Look at this working.
You're trying to pick a song?
Yeah. Oh, better like move it here. Come on, come on, come on, come on.